Hey there everyone, my name is James Lee. Thank you for tuning in to 5149, and today I'm going to be covering a story about top business school programs essentially turning their backs on international students and not allowing them to defer their admissions even if they are unable to travel and physically be here in the United States. In this segment, I'm going to focus in on UCLA because they had this incredibly tone-deaf letter that was sent to incoming students that ended up being leaked on Reddit. I read it, and it's pretty bad. But to be fair to UCLA, many MBA programs, with the exception of Harvard, Stanford, and the University of Michigan, all have the same policy. Oh, and just a quick reminder to subscribe if you haven't. I talk about business and politics weekly, so don't miss out on these interesting discussions that happen here. Okay, so let's jump into the excerpts from this letter that was sent from the UCLA administration to incoming students to address why they can't defer their admissions. The letter reads, "We understand that our international students face challenges getting to the United States for an array of reasons, and because of that, we will be offering an unparalleled virtual experience for you and for anyone who cannot get here." Now that is a joke. Like, how good can this virtual experience be? Are there going to be holograms of professors? Are people going to be networking and having happy hours in an Inception or Matrix virtual environment? Or is it just going to be a Zoom call? Because that's probably what it is, and those suck. Anyway, the letter, it gets worse. Tough times can be a blessing in disguise. For example, our MBA class of 2022 will have a great story to tell to future employers about how they rose to the challenge of making the most out of their education in extreme circumstances and learned lifelong skills in managing through significant uncertainty. Like, wow, talk about a lack of empathy. This is inexplicable to say the least. You'll have a great story to tell. Right, hi there was a pandemic, the school didn't allow me to defer, and I accumulated a bunch of debt sitting in a foreign country on a Zoom call in the middle of the night. Will you hire me? I mean, to me, this is crazy talk. And there's more. The letter goes on to say, please understand our position on doing no referrals. We do not think it is fair for us to decide on a case-by-case basis which ones are granted and which ones are not. Instead, we believe the most honorable thing for us to do is to keep the same established policy. To me, this is baloney admin logic. Nobody is asking for a case-by-case review. We are talking specifically about international students who can't physically travel to the United States because of visa and travel complications during the pandemic. We're talking about getting together and thinking about a solution that shows compassion and understanding. The thing is, it's not hard to figure out why they're doing this. International students are the cash cows of US MBA programs. According to Poets and Quants, the average international student percentage for a top 10 MBA program in the US is 35.5%, with an average tuition of over $70,000 a year. You do the math. And I get it, this is unprecedented. Schools need the revenue, and the administration is probably under a lot of pressure. But based on my MBA experience, the value of the MBA is definitely not in the classes. That information is widely available. What students pay for is access to employers, and who knows what that's going to look like in the next few years as we spiral into a recession and maybe even a depression. And the second thing that I found that was super valuable in my experience is meeting people and building relationships and friendships. And that's just not going to happen in a remote environment. So essentially, they are stripping almost all the value away from something and then asking you to pay full price. And to me, that is just straight up robbery. It's like promising an apple and then whoops, only have the core left. Now is the time for schools to think outside the box, but more importantly, show flexibility and compassion, qualities that admissions committees often look for in students. To be frank, they need to drink a little bit from their own Kool-Aid here, because if they don't, I think the effects will be disastrous in the long term. In future years, they aren't going to be able to attract as many high quality candidates. Because think about this. You now have students who are essentially angry at the school, stuck in a bad relationship they can't get out of, so to speak. And people talk. The information is way more transparent nowadays, and people can easily find out what a school is all about. Look at the r/MBA subreddit. It's already happening. One person writes, "My interview/visit at UCLA left me with the feeling that it was not the most well-run administration. On the other hand, I never expected anything quite like this. That other LA business school might be nipping at their heels if this keeps up." And another person responds, "Can you share more? I was considering UCLA in a few years." You don't think this person is going to think twice about dropping 140 G's at a school they don't hear good things about? And this in turn will affect their rankings, as I covered in a previous video, which I will link below. A decent proportion of the rubric comes from feedback from the alumni. The incredible short-sighted thinking here baffles me because, like I said, I understand some of the financial pressures the schools and their administrators are under, But really think about the implications of what you do and what you say. Even if you can't or don't want to change the policy, at the very least, be honest. Don't talk about how you're going to provide an unparalleled virtual experience. The fact is the experience is going to kind of suck. Be transparent about that so students can make a well-informed choice. And based on history, a pandemic will pass, probably within 12 to 24 months. Schools have options, other ways that they can shore up their liquidity problems, other than committing what I'm calling a soft robbery and forcing students to give money in exchange for basically nothing. Thank you so much for watching. If you're currently in this situation, I want to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you're one of those lucky few that are still with me watching this video till the very end, I appreciate you greatly. Please like and subscribe to support independent media. My name is James Lee. I'll be back next week. And as always, thanks so much for your time.